also great. All right. So Shabbat Shalom again to everyone on Zoom and everyone here in the room and everyone on YouTube. It is good to be with you. It's been a pretty nice week. Busy for me, maybe busy for you, although the holidays are done now. And it's kind of nice to have the holidays be done. Is it nice for you as well?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to take a moment, let go of whatever might be troubling us from the week. If you need to stretch your body or wiggle it around to relax some of the tension that might be in it, please do. Maybe take a deep breath. And we are going to begin our service on page 127. Oh, before we do that, does anybody want the candle blessings? Who wants the candle? Freema wants the candle blessings. Excellent. And what about Kiddush? Who'd like to do Kiddush? Are you volunteering yourself, Alan? Okay, because that was the rules. You can only volunteer yourself. All right, perfect. Thank you. Page 127 in the bracketed numbers, if you got two sets of numbers. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We turn to pages 120 and 121. And Freema, if you would unmute, and I will light our candles here.
I say this English first.
Yes, please.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshonu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lehalik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you, Freema.
Welcome.
We turn now to page 123, and I'd like to invite Alan Zaro to come to the bima for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctify us Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו ובאת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
You may be seated. We turn now to Lecha Dodi, the mystical poem that invites us to turn to one another and say, "Beloved, come with me to go and meet the Shabbat bride." And we invite in the Shabbat as a bride, bringing joy and beauty to our day. Page 138, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמוע וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בורא קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נתלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We we rise as we're able and continue on page 146 with the Baruch Hu.
Lai 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
La 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 la
Lai, 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 lai,
la la
lai.
la 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 la
Ya, la, 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 lai.
la 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed Lai 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 La 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 la
On page 149, I invite you to read with me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glides. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך וטעמך תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נעשה בחוקיך ונזמור בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
We continue with the Shema, page 152.
ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכות עלי עולם ועד Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 157, I invite you to read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. נורא עושה
Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom, Leshalom. B'hamidenu Shomrinu Lechaim. Fros Aleinu Sukkot Shalom Lecha, Fros Aleinu Sukkot Shalom Lecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Vishamru is on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני אוהבים בני ישראל אותי לעולם, בני אוהבים בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
The tefillah begins on page 164. I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
שפתי תפתח, אלי תהילתך. אללי לי לי אדוני. אללי לי לי שפתי תפתח. אללי לי 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 ופי אגיד. ופי אגיד תהילתך. אללי לי 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 אדוני. אללי לי לי שפתי תפתח. אללי לי 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 ופי אגיד. ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר, מושיע מגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד השם מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיי, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Page 173. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, in this week's Torah portion. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Please join me. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. Page 177 is Modim, our blessing of gratitude. And so I'd like to invite you to share, if you would like, anything that you're feeling grateful for today. You can share it out loud. If you're here in the room, you have no choice but to share it out loud if you want to share it. If you're on Zoom, you can also share it in the chat. Linda Kushner-Silverman.
I'm grateful that, well, I'm not grateful Jackson has COVID, but I'm grateful that his temperature has gone down from 105 to 103. So he is getting better, but it was scary for a while. Thank you.
Yeah, thank God for that. Modima nachnu lach, for sure. Who else is feeling grateful for something today? Alan? What does that mean? Okay. He went to Alan Zarrow went to the knee surgeon, and the knee surgeon said that as far as rehab goes, the sky's the limit. He's cleared to do anything that he wants to do. So that's good news. Patricia is grateful for this weather and the weekend. Charlotte is grateful for family and friendship and beautiful days. Anybody else? Okay. I invite you to join me on page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace is on page 178.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon, Achol Shalom. טוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה מלך אדון בכל השלום. טוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rab Yisrael Amcha. Tasim le'olam.
We have come now to our quiet prayer. There are words on pages 180 and 181. There are words on the screen if you can see the screen, but we can always use the words that are in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
יהיו לרצון אמרי ויום ליבי, יהיו לרצון אמרי ויום ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth, and meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you. Oh, my rock, and my Redeemer.
We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. If you have names you would like to add for healing, you can put them in the chat if you are on Zoom, and everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Dan Sacker, Ira Weiss, Allison Plummer, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Joellen Fox, Alan Fremer, Valerie Pace, George Landberg, Kenny Schweiger, Leslie Hirsch, Susan Bilecki, Dana Haitkin Nelson, Michael Luck, Eva Braxmajor, Barbara Weiner, Joan Lifshitz, Elizabeth Lee, Genevieve Lightfoot, Amy Juskowitz Soonseller, Deanna Roth, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha and Ed Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Audrey Cohen, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightmaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jerry Prezioso, Jeff Abel, Monica Bayer, Joseph Mondano Sr., Nora Mondano, Deborah Rose Zern, David Wyckoff, June Friedman, Beth Price Dugan, Sandra Pastor, Jay Karp, Sally Moses, Jocelyn Josephs, Nathan Amrani, Leslie Hirsch, Michelle Nadell, Lucy Lamp, Elaine Evans, Herbert Meyer, Susan Handworker, Mark Fogel, Jonathan Dash, Maureen Dash. Jerome Taylor, Ed Robinson, Joanna Marie, Teresa O'Sullivan, Jimmy Jenkins, Chanel Camabatch, Juliette Dale, Maureen Dale, DeAndre Wynn, Jennifer Magoob, Sarah West, Elena Aram, Warren Feliz, Sylvia Solva, Erwin Bernstein, Joy Ojan, Merle Paisley, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paines, Carol Rosen, Amy Balin, Rabbi Sam Weiss, David Gauchi, Jerry Jaffe, Shelley Batuski, Leslie Staples, Susan Handwerker, Jody Siegel-Stein, Saul Siegel, Lauren and Ian Silverman, Jesse Laban, Delphine Wolf, Dottie Tabachman, Jeannie Ocello, Pat Colella, Laura Cricky, Susan and Tony Vi, Jean Green, Estelle Altork, Laney and Larry Vinico. Freema?
Warren Shapiro, Heather Krugman, Reva and David Cohen, Martin Bennett, Carol Bienstock, Phyllis O'Neill, Kathy's brother Gabby, Elliot Drucker, Shelley Belsky, and Alan Mandel. Thank you.
Linda Kushner Silverman?
I'm sorry, Jackson Kushner, Tara Kushner, Ronnie Katlowitz, Carol and Stevie Doppelt, Phyllis Benjamin, Shelley Samet, David Gershon, Millie and Israel Yashami, Harvey Crevoy, and Sherry Jacobs. Thank you.
Adrian?
Jeff Horn and Helene Horn.
If you're in the room and you have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Ruth? Janice? Alan? Teddy?
Robin Schuster.
We include also all of those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, those who are suffering from COVID-19, and those who have been harmed in recent disasters, whether natural disasters or human-created ones, including the wars and conflicts around the world. The Misha Berach is on page 371, but the words of the Misha Berach we're doing tonight are different than what's there, and they are displayed on the screen.
Misha Berach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah Rivka Leah veRachel. May the one who blessed the mothers, may the one who blessed the fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Misha Berach Avotenu, Misha Berach Imotenu, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. In the very beginning of everything, there is God and something. The something includes water and tohu vavohu, a phrase that appears nowhere else in the Bible, so we have no idea what it means. That's fitting because we also have no idea what things were like before the world began, and the term is never used again because the condition of the world never exists again. Then God starts sorting, creating, and bringing order. Our Torah portion, Bereshit, describes 6 days of creation and a 7th day of God's resting. Then, oddly, the text seems to start again. We read, Ele toldot hashamayim v'ha'aretz v'habaram b'yom asot Adonai Elohim eretz v'shamayim. This is the chronicle of heaven and earth when they were created, on the day God Adonai made earth and heaven. Then we get the story of the creation of Adam, the first human being in the Garden of Eden. In contrast, the very beginning of the Torah and the first creation story, the one with the 7 days, begins Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, when God began to create the heavens and the earth. The second story's first 2 words, Ele toldot, this is the chronicle, appear also in other places as the beginning of a story. Parshat Noach, the next Torah portion, which includes the story of Noah and the ark, begins Ele toldot Noach. This is the chronicle of Noah. And Parshat Toldot, which is called Toldot, where we read of the birth and the growing up of Jacob and Esau, begins Ele Toldot Yitzchak. This is the chronicle of Isaac, the father of Jacob and Esau. These 2 creation stories, they don't match. In the first, with the 6 days of creation, all the animals are created before the humans, who are created male and female, no making one person out of another person here. And that happens on the 6th day. In the second story, the human, a single human, is created, and then all of the other animals are created as God tries to find a helpmeet, a partner for the human. None of the animals are suited to that purpose, so God creates a second human from the first, and then there are male and female. The fact that the order of creation is different in each of these back-to-back creation stories is one clue that they aren't to be taken literally. Another clue is that we have science from which we haven't learned everything, but have learned a lot about how the universe developed. And that also, I know people try to match them up, but it's a stretch at best. So then we're left with the questions, why 2 different stories? And what are we to learn from them? Taking the second question first, I and many others believe that these stories don't exist to tell us how the world was created. They exist to tell us why the world was created and what God's involvement with it is. And as for the 2 different stories, I believe that they have to do with 2 different relationships. The first story, with the 6 days of creation, is about God's relationship with the whole universe. In a solitary, non-intimate way, God on high creates everything with words by speaking the world into being. That is how powerful God is. That with words, God can cause the various substances to be sorted, create all the plants and creatures, create humanity, and then rest. On the 7th day, God creates Shabbat. Elements of God's relationship with the universe include the power to say that something will be and have it be. This is super powerful. This is a very, very powerful God. God is the creator of everything. God tells the people to be fruitful and multiply and to be in charge of all the animals. Older translations speak of dominion over the earth, while newer translations and interpretations speak of stewardship of the earth. Now that second story, the one that begins with Ele Toldot, I think that Ele Toldot is a clue here, because the other places where it appears, this is the chronicle of Noach, this is the chronicle of Yitzchak, that we're going to hear a story about people, that's specifically about specific people. And so that's what's happening in the second story. It really is focused on people and therefore people's relationship with a much more intimate God. Because in the second story, God actually seems to get God's metaphorical hands dirty. God doesn't just speak and things come into being. Rather, God fashions the human out of dust and breathes into the human's nostrils the breath of life. This is an up close and personal God crafting a human figure out of clay and actually putting breath into the person with God's own breath, not with words. Then God plants a garden and puts the human in it. And despite the fact that throughout the 6 days of creation, every day God looks at what has been created and says, this is good. Now God says something is not good. It is not good that the human is alone. And so also, unlike the first story in which God seems to have no uncertainty, God speaks and things happen and everything is good. Here God decides to make a helpmate, a partner for the human, and creates all of the animals in order to find one. Again, God forms them out of the soil. And apparently it's not clear to God what the right helpmate for the human would be. The human, meanwhile, has a chance to see if each animal works as a partner and give it a name. And none of them do work as a partner for the human. So God puts the human to sleep and does surgery. It says God removes the rib, is how it's usually translated, but really it more means side, removes the side of the human and closes up the place. I mean, it's actual surgery. And then God creates a second human and therefore man and woman. Humans are participating in creation and as partners to God. The human gets to decide what's a good helpmate. Humans interact directly with God. They disobey God. They develop a sense of morality, which apparently God did not voluntarily give to them. They learned of good and evil when they ate the fruit that God had forbidden them to eat. So in this story, there's free will. And there's a give and take relationship with God, and there's discussion and orders and transgression and consequences. In Judaism, we talk about God both as all powerful and distant and as intimate and personal. The first creation story introduces that all powerful, distant God, while the second story introduces God as also able to be in a close, accessible relationship with human beings. And both of these are the why of the universe, why it is there and what God's relationship is with it and with us. We all experience God in our own way. And our way of experiencing God may change multiple times over our lifetime. If God is everything there is, there are endless ways to experience God. And while only two are presented in these first two stories in our Torah, these two stories do remind us that God can be many relationships and many types of relationships at once. In whatever way we understand that word God, may we use the word to mean that which fills our souls with joy and contentment, and may we find God in whatever nurtures us spiritually. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
God made the dark, God made the light, God made day, and God made night. There were wonders all around on the first day. God made the heavens for the clouds. God made the oceans down below. There was water all around on the second day. I look up, I see the sun. I look down, I see the ground. I see wonders all around, and I wonder where they all came from. God took the earth out of the seas. God made flowers. God made trees. Grass was growing all around on the third day. God made the sun to rule the day. God made the moon to rule the night. Stars were shining all around on the fourth day. I look up, I see the sun. I look down, I see the ground. I see wonders all around, and I wonder where they all came from. God made the fish, God made the birds, God made mice, and God made the worms. They were swarming all around on the fifth day. God made the lion, God made the lamb, God made woman, and God made man. And God told them to love the land on the sixth day. On the seventh day, God rested. God looked out on all the world. On the seventh day, God rested, and God knew it was good. I look up, I see the sun. I look down, I see the ground. I see wonders all around, and I know that where they all came from, and I know where they all came from.
The Elenu begins on page 586. Is it the full one? At the bottom of the page. I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
Hello.
לשבח לאדון הכל, עתיד גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשות שגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, מושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה Adonai hu Elohim bashamayim imal ve'al haaretz mitachat einod ve'neyema v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shema echad.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months or in past years at this time of the year. I'm sharing our yard site list to the screen. Those of you here in person have the list in your bulletin. If you're on Zoom and have names you would like to add for the mourner's Kaddish, you can put them in the chat and everyone will have a chance to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Eleanor Peplitz, Patricia Christensen, Thea Platt-Glasser, William Fritz, Bernard Cohen, Lucy Palazzolo, Blair Ford, Shlomo Nakash, Arlene Scher, Abraham Finkel, Ron Cricky, Mimi Karp, Rochelle Rolnick, Elaine Drucker, Matthew Brunner, Maddie Rosenbaum, Myron Jacobson, Lester Schenker, John Belay, Yefim Polyak, the Reverend Eleanor Lee McGee Street, Arthur Goldstein, Lotta Bloom, Irv Golden, Arthur Derry, Andrew Mazzella, Joyce Braziller, Linda Gilbert Schneider, Della Cohen, Fran Arnowitz, Selma Carl, Harold Carl, Emily Seff, Moshe Usher Reinitz, Huma Saber, Henrietta Kerner. Included on our yard site list today are Carolyn Davis, Eric Platt's mother-in-law, William Gelb, Freema Schneier's father, Lila Kramer, Karen Kramer's mother, Maud Konofsky, Joyce Kantrowitz's mother, William Lipton, Paul S. Lipton's father, Bernard Murowitz, Marty Murowitz's father, Abraham Peck, Patty Ann Cubero's father, Frances Wolf, Milton Platt's sister. And I also want to mention very, very long time member Adelaide Liss, and also Leo Seidelman, who was a past president of Temple Beth Meth, as well as a member for years and years and years. Dwight Simmons, Ernie Biederman, Sal Camaso, Fiona Callender, Murray Fleck, Diane Offiero, Paul Markowitz. Rima?
Again, my father, William Gelb, and Adelaide Liss, she was just one of a kind. She was just so great, had a great sense of humor, and played piano very well. And Mila Sankin. Thank you.
Thank you. Charlotte?
Louise Gruenberger was Ilsa Corcus's mother. Louise was a Holocaust survivor and a great lady.
Thank you. If you're in the room and you have names to add, I invite you to rise or raise your hands. Alan? Sure. We include also all of those who have died from COVID-19 and those who have died from other causes with no one to say Kaddish for them, whether they perished in war or famine or terror or disaster or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. I invite you, if you're able, to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved wherever they may be. And let us say, amen.
Oseh shalom bimroma, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, oyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
At this time, I'd like to invite our president, Adrienne Knoll, to give us announcements.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Thank you to Freema and to Alan for doing the blessings. Tomorrow's exciting. We have religious school, and then we have Biyachad at 10, and we have a bat mitzvah. Lila Berman at 11 o'clock, Zoom and in person. If you're coming in person, of course, wear your masks and bring your vaccination cards. Monday, we have gentle chair yoga from 4 to 5:30. Tuesday, the Sisterhood of Beshert, Women of Beshert, whatever, I don't know what they're called now. I think Women of Beshert are welcoming Rob Friedman, who's going to talk about downsizing and selling items that are no longer wanted or needed. That's Tuesday, 7:15, in-house and on Zoom. You'll get the Zoom information sometime before the meeting. Thursday, 1 o'clock, we have Torah study with Rabbi Heidi, confirmation class for those to whom it applies. And then 7:30, Israeli dance. And then Friday, we are back here for poetry and for services. Have a wonderful and safe and healthy week. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are going to close. Well, I just want to say how wonderful it is to have Noni and Michael Tornick back with us. Welcome back, and
Good to be back.
I'm glad you're healthy
Feels
again,
good.
and that you had safe travels as well.
Thank you so much.
So that's lovely to have you back.
And for people who are on Zoom, part of our oneg tonight will be shortbread cookies from Scotland, because I was there.
Shortbread cookies from Scotland. That sounds
Yes.
delicious. I'm gonna avail myself of one of those. We're gonna close with Zeba Zeba Zeh, Zeba Zeh, Zeba Zeh, B'yachad. It is on the screen. It is not in your prayer book. I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
May good fortune and blessing be found here. May the music of memory resound here. May the work of our hands and the work of our souls make us stronger, make us whole. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, biachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, biachad. May we seek peace and understanding. May we cherish and the joy we express. Make us stronger, make us blessed. May the builders that lay the foundation, may they rise up in each generation. May the ones who invest never tire nor rest. They make us stronger, make us blessed. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, 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 yachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, 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 yachad. Oh, Yisrael. May good fortune and blessing be found here. May the music of memory resound here. May the work of our hands and the work of our souls make us stronger, make us whole. Zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, biachad. Oh, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, zeba, zeba, ze, biachad. Oh,
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.
And before we go to the oneg, where I understand there is shortbread from Scotland, we will also have challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And I hope to see you tomorrow to celebrate with Lila and her family. It's going to be beautiful.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom,